Hey everybody, I am Stacy, the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. I'm an elite Dixie Belle retailer here in Ardmore, Alabama at the Rustic Willow, and then I also still have my location in Madison as well. We're just going to give it a second. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm live here and be able to pull up comments, or make sure I can see comments. And if you guys are just jumping on, just say hey, where you're watching from. If you're working on anything cool tonight, happy Monday, happy holiday. Dixie Belle may be on with us tonight. Usually they are, but since it's a holiday, I'm not sure if they're going to be there, but they may be to help answer any questions. And we are going to go ahead. Not seeing the video come up yet here, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, hey, I see people coming on. Hey, Deborah from New York. Oh, gosh, it's probably freezing up there. We had a little bit of snow yesterday, but it wasn't too bad. Usually we don't get any at all. Hey, Wanda, she's local. Did you guys have snow out where you guys were at? Hey, Kathy. All right, so tonight we'll go ahead and get started. I'm a little bit behind. Oh yeah, I think it's heading north too to New York, I think as well right now. Hey, Amber, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Hey, Karen. Hey, oh, look, and here's my little baby back here watching too. So anyway, tonight we're going to be working on this vanity. I was actually sick last week, so we were supposed to be doing the Retro Peacock then. So I haven't done, oh hey, from Quebec. So I haven't done any work this past week. I'm actually a little bit behind. So we're going to go ahead and work with this transfer tonight, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about what I've already done. If you want to catch it, in the description, there's a link to my Facebook page. You can just click where it says New Creations by Stacy. And if you search #live, you can see where we actually painted this on the Chalk Paint 101 page 2 weeks ago. So we did this blend on here. But what I actually did, just to catch you guys up to where we're at now, and then we'll start with this. Oh, thanks. It's actually a vanity. I have the mirror, and it's got the, oh, I can't even think right now. It's right over here. But it's got a vanity, and I've got a cool stool to go with it, too. But like I said, I'm just behind now. So, yeah, I know. I've been freezing, too, here. So, first thing I did, I cleaned this with White Lightning. It's just a TSP solution. It's going to do a little bit of deglossing, get all like the grease, grime, everything off, make it ready for paint. So I started there, and I did do 2 coats. Hey, Sarah. Oh, thank you. So I did do 2 coats of Boss in Clear on here. I wasn't sure what I was going to go with, and this is definitely a heavy, heavy bleeder. So I did 2 coats of Boss in Clear, and then we did a blend of, this is Bunker Hill Blue here, and then Antebellum, which is one of my favorites, Antebellum Blue, and then it's highlighted with Kudzu, which just goes gorgeous with this Antebellum. These are my favorite color mixes anyway, though. Oh, did you really? I love this transfer. I wasn't wanting to go all out with this vanity, but I don't know how much of it I'm going to use. We're going to do this section and kind of go from there. I don't really have a plan after that, but that kind of catches you guys up. Oh, I also added this Would You Been trim here, as well as the Would You Been trim down here. So that's exactly where we're at right now. I did fill in the original hardware holes with Dixie mud as well. And then I drilled these out because I needed to work on it while it was together, and I couldn't get the drawers out otherwise. So the Retro Peacock Transfer is one of the new ones from Dixie Belle, and I love it. I love the colors on it. I'm hoping it's going to look good with this color base. This is my first time using this one. So it comes in 4 sheets. And you can see I've already kind of got the placement on this one over here. But it comes, so I've cut up part of it, but it comes in 4 sheets. This is part of the one I cut up. I love this design right here. I don't know if I'm going to end up using it on the sides, but you guys, if you have some thoughts on design, please chime in. Because like I said, I don't know where I'm going past this. Here's one of the other sheets here. We got some really cool feathers, really vibrant, bright colors. Hey, Mike, how are you? Oh, he's in Ohio. I'm sure it's freezing up there too. All right, and then we've got, this is one of the other sheets, and this is part of the peacock that I cut out there. And this is one of the sheets that's all the way together. And by the way, you guys, these sheets can fit together, and all of the pages are numbered, so you know how to put them together. So it does come with 4 sheets, and then you also get some instructions with the tips and tricks on how to apply it. And then it also comes with a little stick here that you can apply it with. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And for this, so like I said, all I really know to start off with, and I think I'm going to bring you guys in close so you can see it really well. Let me just bring you over, and then I'm going to drop you down some. So that way you have a nice close-up of what we're going to be doing here. I know, aren't they? So vibrant. I love them. I love all the colors on the new transfers. This is the 3rd one I've used so far, and I've got one project going with the buds and branches too right now. So I'm going to bring this over so I can have a good angle on it too. So with the transfers, we'll go ahead and start with this one first. And I have this exactly how I want it laid out because I'm actually switching out the hardware, and I've kind of put the hardware up so I could see, well, I've got some more modern hardware because I wanted it to kind of look the same style as the Retro Peacock. So what I'm going to do, I don't normally do this. Normally I eyeball it, but I do have a watercolor pencil here. So if you need to mark anything on your piece, I always use a watercolor pencil because all you have to do is once you've got everything laid out, you just wet it down and you can wipe it right off. It doesn't leave anything, and it's just super easy. So since I've got this laid out, I'm going to go ahead and just mark where I want my edges to be here so I can get it in the right spot. So we'll go ahead and pull this off. So now this is just paint. I have not protected it yet or anything like that. It's easiest to put the transfers directly onto the paint because it's a very porous surface and they stick very nicely directly on the paint. You can protect it first, but the glossier the finish, the more difficult it is to get to the transfer to release on it. So it's really easy if you've protected it with flat and then you say, oh, I want to add a transfer. It's easy for it to stick that way. Satin too, I don't have a problem putting it on. Gloss, I've actually never tried gloss. I'm not a big gloss fan. So I'm going to pull this out a little bit just so I can get the placement down, and then this drawer is going to end up going back in. So the transfers, if you haven't used them before, which I think most of you guys have, based on the comments, but it comes in 2 little sheets. You've got your clear one that the transfer stuck to and your white backing that just, this protects the transfer. It's very sticky, so you don't want to actually touch the design itself. You want to make sure you're just touching the clear plastic because it can stick to your fingers. You can damage it. So we're going to go ahead and just lay this one where we want it to go here. And I've got my markers down. So just want to make sure I get it lined up to the bottom of the drawer. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and lightly press it down. And then from the bottom, to avoid any bubbles, you don't want to, I don't want to stick this top part down, stick the bottom part and go towards the middle. I want to kind of go all in one direction, and I'm just going to put it kind of onto my piece. Whoops. Whoa. Uh-oh. Okay, so I almost just damaged my transfer there. And I tell you what, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take my... So if I would have just damaged my transfer, because I actually stuck tape. Ooh, that's a learning lesson right there. Oh, are you guys having a problem viewing the video? If it's freezing, try exiting out and going back in and see if that helps. That might work. But, so if I would have damaged my transfer, I could actually paint it back in if I would have taken off that section. But thank you, God, it worked perfectly. You can see my design is still intact. So we're just going to place it again. That's actually the nice thing about the Dixie Belle Transfer. I was rubbing this down, but you saw it, I still accidentally knocked it off. And a lot of transfers, once you start rubbing them down like that, they're on there. They're not, if you peel them away, part of the transfer will stick and the other part won't. So, that was really a blessing that just came off and that my design did not stick to the tape. So I went ahead and just pushed the drawer back in. I'm going to go ahead and just rub this down. So I make, goodness, I am having issues tonight. Let me do this again. So let's do that one more time. Boy, I've never had this much trouble. All right. Let me go ahead and use my stick this time and rub this down. And actually, I'm going to have to move it back to the wall because I've got it on these rollers. So I'm going to bring you guys forward a little bit so you're still able to see. Now I'm going to start rubbing this down to make sure that I don't do that for a fourth time. So I'm kind of on a curved surface. Just want to make sure that this is all nice and attached. And I've got, so I don't want to rub down here because I've got I'm too close to the edge here. So what I'm actually going to do, want to make sure I'm going to move you guys over a little bit. Sorry if hopefully I'm not making anybody motion sick. I know, right, Amber? Normally I don't have those issues. So this is just a little trick. I'm actually going to put this over so I don't damage my paint and the crack down here. And I could actually pull the drawer out and put this on. This is just kind of a little trick so that I don't scratch the paint and I'm still able to rub the transfer down. And it's nice over here on the edges too because I had to cut this out. So I'm just keeping this plastic piece around the edges so I can rub this down and not scratch my paint. And normally I'd like to use a bigger piece, but this was the only thing I had handy. I know I'm a little bit worried about trying to pull this off at the rate I'm going tonight. All right, so I should be pretty well released. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a little hold. So that I can get this out, there's a couple things I could do here. Usually I just use a plastic piece so I can get a hold of it to pull it out. But you could also use like painter's tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub while I'm pulling back. So you can see I'm just pulling back here. And by the way, before you stick this down, you want to make sure that your surface is clean as well. So if you have done like a sand to smooth it out or something like that, You do want to use like a tack cloth to get any of the dust off. But you just want to rub and pull back. And hopefully, I tried to bring you guys in close so you can see how vibrant it is here. But you can tell where it's released, how it's gotten a lot lighter in this section. So that's how you know when it's released. If you pull back and your design is still stuck, you can just lay it back down and just rub it a little bit more, and you can start pulling back. And this one is releasing pretty well. I'm going kind of slow just because I literally dropped it off here 3 times. So I want to make sure that I don't mess it up here. So I'm just rubbing and pulling. And I'm generally, so let me see if I can show you. Well, and what I'm doing is where I'm trying to pull it back, that's where I'm rubbing. And when you are doing your transfers, if you have a transfer that is one solid design, it doesn't have a lot of edge pieces that have to release. Okay, now you guys, I'm trying to mess up the other little section I have cut out here. So, hold on, I know you can't see that section. I'm just gonna rub this down a little bit more. I didn't want to get my paint over there. But when you have so many release points, or outer edges, I guess, instead of, like, if this was one whole solid piece, it didn't have all these swirls, it would actually release a little bit faster, but you have to be more careful. So, like, if you're doing lettering or something like that, you generally want to be a little bit more careful, go a little slower, because all of those edges, you want to make sure that those are stuck down. So you guys, if you watched me a couple weeks ago, I have a new puppy too. So she's a little bit talkative, very talkative. You guys can probably hear her back there. Let's see here. She was the one under the vanity here. All right, so we've almost got this part released off. I want to be a little bit careful when we get down to the bottom here. Normally, I like to go up and meet at a solid section to make sure that nothing inadvertently kind of rips off a section that it releases easily. Okay, there we go, perfect. Oh, and I love how this looks on here. Oh. It's you can't see it as well in the camera, I feel like, but in person, these colors look fabulous. I was a little worried about that, so I'm pretty excited. So once you have it on here, you want to go ahead and burnish it on to make sure that it's connected at all points, that you don't have any bubbles or anything like that. Oh, thanks. I see Dixie Belle on. Hey, they are on with us. So to do that, there's a lot of different ways. You can use your finger to kind of go over it. You can use one of these plastic sections that we just took off to go over it. I personally like to use our finishing pads. And by the way, they come like this, but I usually cut them in half so they're easier to use. And so what you want to do is you just want to kind of, I normally rub lightly at first because you have these little halos kind of around the outside that you want to make sure are rubbed down really well. And sometimes they create little stringies, so I feel like the finishing pad just stresses those out kind of nicely. very lightly. It's more like a smoothing pad rather than distressing. If you wanted to distress it, which you can do, we have like the rad pads, so you could use like the very fine grit one, which is really equivalent to about maybe like a 320 or a higher, is what I would do to distress them, because it really kind of takes the ink off a little bit, kind of works them into the paint. But you just want to rub it down. I don't have any air bubbles on here, but if I did, well, we'll go on. I'll talk about that in a minute. But if I did, I've got the tools here just in case, and I can show you how to work with those. But you just want to make sure that it is on there very well. You don't have any points that aren't attached, because when you protect this, which you do want to protect over the transfers unless they're on glass, you want to make sure that you don't get any moisture under it. So our next part that we're going to put on, and I've got some stuff from the finishing pad on here, I'm just going to wipe that off. You don't want anything under where you're putting the transfer on. So we are actually going to put the little section in here on. And, oh, hey, Wanda, I'm feeling so much better. My energy is coming back and everything. I'm still kind of congested, but a lot better. It was terrible the other day. So I want to tell you guys something, why I'm doing this way. A lot of times when you see these transfers go on and they go over drawers, I will put them, I'll put it on and I'll run it over this ledge down into the next drawer. I am not doing that in this case, and the reason being is if you're working with like lettering, or if it's a pattern or something like that, it looks great to do that. But when you're working with just one pictured item, a lot of times when you do that, it'll shorten up the item and make it look more squat. And so I didn't want that to happen. So that's why I'm actually not putting it over these rounded edges. I'm going in here. By the way, I'll be doing these like in gold or something anyway. But I'll be going in here and then picking up on the next drawer down. And that's because I didn't want to shorten my peacock. I didn't want it to be too stout. I wanted it to be elongated and elegant. So I'm just going to line up. Hopefully you guys can see. Yep. I'm just going to line this up right here. And yeah, I've got it in the right spot. And hopefully I can keep that stuck. I'm going to use my fingernail. I don't want it to move. I'm going to use my fingernail to kind of rub it down. This is a super tiny section. And then I'm going to take this larger one that we just took off from this piece. I'm going to put it over so I can protect my paint. And I'm just going to rub this in here. I want to make sure it sticks really good because I'm not really going to be able to rub and pull back at the same time. Oh, I didn't know you had COVID, Amber. Oh, goodness. I hope you're feeling better, too. Just prayers to everybody going out. There's just so much going around right now. All right, so see, I'm not rubbing while I'm pulling this back, but I am pulling back slowly to make sure it's stuck on there well. But see, this way, my peacock is still elongated. I'm not shortening it up any. I learned that the hard way about the designs with the transfers. All right, so we've got that part on then and all burnished in. So we're going to go ahead and do the bottom section. Oh, wow. Well, we'll definitely praying for you. A third surgery. I don't want to ask too many questions. I don't want to be too nosy, but praying for quick healing and that everything goes well. And this is the last surgery. All right, so I purposefully didn't cut this piece off. I just wanted to show you guys kind of how I measure these and cut them down. So what I'm going to do is just line this up kind of with the drawer, and I'm going to kind of make sure this is right where I want it. And what I'm going to kind of do is I've got an X-Acto knife here. And I'm going to tell you, I am not good enough to cut this straight down. So I really just want to mark. Actually, what I'm going to do is pull this drawer out a little bit. I just want to mark where the edge of that drawer is. And then we're going to use a cutting tool. Push it in just a little bit so I can make sure that I've got it lined up. Right? Sorry, I know my head might be in the way there, but and I'm just going to go ahead and there we go. So I've got it just cut a little bit so I can mark it. And I've got my cutting tool out here. I'm just going to pop you down right quick. Whoops. Oh, goodness. Man, you guys, tonight I am having issues. Wow. Sorry about that. All right, well, let me just move my cutting tool so you can see it at the rate I'm going. I've had a time on the last few lives. All right, so I've got my cutting tool out, and I like to cut it with this just because it's, I'm not good at cutting a straight line. So I'm going to line up where I cut a portion of it. Just make sure that I have this edge straight over here. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this down. And I mean, this tool cuts the transfers phenomenally well. No damage, and I can make sure that I get that straight line. So let me see if I can pop you guys up without issue. Here we go again. Perfect. All right, and then let's go ahead and put this last, let me see where I'm at for time. Okay, so yeah, we've got plenty of time. So I just want to make sure that I'm lining this up. Perfect. And I know my head is here, but just for placement, I've got to make sure that, all right, there we go. So this is my largest section, and this is kind of what I was talking about. So see with this transfer, you can see probably from the back a little bit easier. This section is all one section. It doesn't have a lot of outside edges like down here. These are all outside edges. So this part will take longer, and you just have to be a little bit more careful there. So I just want to make sure I get this placement. Well, and I know I'm kind of, there we go. All right. So I'm going in one direction. You don't want to go towards the middle because that's where you can get some bubbles. I didn't quite get it as far over to the edge as I wanted to, but I think that's fine. Actually, let's see. So this is what I was talking about. You can kind of pull it off a little bit and no damage to the transfer so that you can replace it exactly where you want it to be. I want to line it up to the edge of that drawer. But so now I'm kind of picky when it comes to lining this up, so just bear with me here. Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still too far up to the top. I've got to line the top first. Okay, let me just make sure I can get this. Well, actually, I've got it too far out. Might have pressed too hard there. Nope. So I might end up, here we go. No. So I'm going to go down from the top. I thought I might have a bubble, or I might get a bubble in there, but it, actually that worked out perfectly. All right. So I'm just going to make sure I have it rubbed down so it's stuck really well. I might have to add another stopper to this drawer. This particular drawer is sitting in kind of far. So now we're just going to do the same thing. I'm going to start on this section over here. I'm just going to rub this down really well. And I'm using this plastic piece just so I can protect my paint job, so that I don't scratch my paint with this wooden part here. Oops. There we go. So the rest of it, actually let me do the same for the top. And like I said, you want to kind of keep it running in the direction when you're putting it down. I don't want to suddenly start over here and then go in toward this way, because that'll surely give me a bubble. So I just want to keep bringing it over so it's nice and flat. And I think I'm going to go ahead and start pulling from this side. Let me, which is a little awkward when I'm sitting over here, but the reason I'm not pulling from this other side, which would be more convenient, is because I've covered up my hole, so I can't get the drawer out. So that's why I'm going to start over here. Once I get to the hole, I'll end up cutting that out with my X-Acto knife. So I'll be able to take it out then and maybe do a little bit more. So again, we're just going to start rubbing while we're pulling back. We're just going to keep rubbing and pulling. I'm not talking so much this time because at the time I want to go ahead and definitely get this on. So you can see it all the way together, and then just talk about how you want to protect it. So I want to get this on a little bit faster. And you know, I'm not talented enough to talk and work all the time at the same time. Oh, thanks, Jan. I do too. I was kind of nervous, color-wise, of how this transfer would look over this, but I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So now I'm into that part that's all one section, and you can see how easily it goes on and releases. Just want to make sure I get this really nice up here. So now I'm going to kind of actually start going down towards the bottom, because I can finally get some of this over here. All right, so this is not attached, just right there in that corner. Let me see if I can figure out where the hole is so I can get the drawer pulled out some. Here it is, right here. So here is my my hole. what I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish this section really quick so I can make sure it's stuck really well right there. And I'm going to go ahead and take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to kind of come in right and just go around. I just want to cut it. I have a little leeway for error because, you know, the knob is going to come out a little bit more than just this hole, or cover a little bit more. So I just cut out that little center section there. And I'm going to go ahead and take my finishing pad, just burnish right over it again. So now I can go ahead and pull my drawer out and get to that side without messing up the paint. So, and that way if I'm a little off too, you know, and I can't even press that hard right now just because I don't want to push the drawer back in. I don't have enough hands. Let me make sure I'm not. And it's still releasing really easily. I'm on that full section still. Just a little bit of pressure. Just pulling it down. And I think you guys are close enough in that you can really see the difference in the change in color where it releases. Oops, I didn't have that little. So yeah, this section up here, I didn't have it quite. So this section right up here, all of it wasn't stuck there. I'm just gonna put my plastic back down and rub. I couldn't get to that section really well while the drawer was in. So I do like to completely release my transfer the whole way around somewhere in the center though. And the reason I like to do that is because if it's a solid section, there's less chance that you could accidentally, you know, rip off the one of the edges when you're pulling it away. Less chance of damage. And normally you're not going to damage it anyway, but every great once in a while, that has happened. Well, actually, it's only happened to me once, but I know other people it's happened to as well. And that's why I do this. I try to release. I don't always, but I try to release more so. That's all one complete section. So it's going to be easier for me to release and pull this off. All right, and that is it, the bottom part of the peacock here. And then let's go ahead and burnish it down. I'm going to pull my drawer out to burnish it though. So you'll see, this is a dark chalk paint. And you will see where I've got some finger marks on here. But that is all going to go away once I add the protectant. And protecting over transfers. So you want to use a water-based protectant over a transfer. Transfers do not like oil. So you don't want to put something like Big Mama's butter right on top of the transfer, or like, you know, something of that nature. You want to create a barrier in between. I don't know why you would do that, but you want to create a barrier in between any type of oil product and the transfer. So you can use our clear coats to protect. You can use the besting wax to protect because the besting wax is water-based. You do not want to use gator hide though on a transfer. You can have some issues with like cracking and peeling later on. There's just something in the gator hide that the transfers don't like. But you do want to protect over them. The only time you don't want to is if it's on glass. And I just want to take a look at this from a couple different angles just to make sure. So I did not get any, I got no bubbles at all. So if you would get a bubble, all you do is you can use, a lot of times I like to use a safety pin or something like that. Oh, hey, Amy. Let's see. You should do gilding wax after a transfer. Yes, and I do create a barrier in between my transfer and the gilding wax. So you can use that protectant. You're going to create that barrier so that the gilding wax isn't touching the transfer. And that's, you know, that'll protect your transfer from that oil-based product. So if you do get a bubble though, you can use like a little X-Acto knife. You can just come in and just slightly touch it, kind of like how you saw me cut out right here. And then once you've got that hole, the air can release from the bubble, and then you're just going to press it down and make it stick, and it'll stick right there. But that's how you can correct the bubbles. I like to use the safety pin, but you can do it either way. So that's it. And I'm loving how this is turning out. So I'm going to pull you guys back. We are pretty much out of time. Yeah, we are pretty much out of time. But I'll be finishing this piece this week. And so I'll be posting a picture probably this weekend, so you can see the final product. And I have several other pieces I'm finishing up too. Like I said, I did nothing last week. But that is how the Retro Peacock looks on our vanity, and I'm loving it with this Antebellum and Kudzu and the Bunker Hill Blue. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. And if you guys know anyone, oh, thanks, Bonnie. And if you guys know anyone who could use this video or might like to see it, please share or sprinkle it around. And you can find me on my page. Just click the New Creations by Stacy link. I also have the link for the Chalk Mineral Paint Enthusiast group. Lots of inspiration on there, lots of amazing artists as well. And what else? Oh, your local retailer, you guys. I'm so sorry I didn't even mention it. I do have the affiliate link. You can click on that on top. Well, actually, the website's different now. I don't know if it's at the top left. I think it's at the top right now. Anyway, click on Find Your Local Retailer. You put in your zip. You can find them through the link, or you can also order online through my affiliate link. And if you're local, definitely come in and see us at the Rustic Willow in Ardmore, Alabama. But thanks, guys, for hanging out. Take care. Have a great night. Bye.